Morning guys, it is the 23rd of the 1st 2021 and I thought I'd do a video. I'm watching American Gods. I watched the first season of American Gods after I'd read the book, and then I watched the second season in first lockdown in Warminster when I was away, and I don't think I took it on board much because I'm rewatching it. Season 3 is out, and I know a lot of people going on about how violent and sexual it is and all this sort of thing, but I love it. I think it's amazing. I don't want to put too many spoilers in for people who aren't watching it, who want to watch it, or as far as me. So yeah, at the moment I'm rewatching season 2, but basically all the gods, all the old gods are joining together. All the old gods who came to America with the people who moved to America, the Norwegian gods, the African gods, they're all coming together to try to fight the new gods of media and internet and communication and AI. So it's magical, it's esoteric, it's full of symbology, full of truth drops. I mean, it's just packed with stuff. Every frame has got something in of interest. But what caught my eye, right? Now this is more of a sort of like just I don't know, something I noticed and something that ties in with research that various channels have been doing about repurposing things and finding old stuff and reusing them. So in season 2, everybody is called to a meeting at a place called the House on the Rock. Now the House on the Rock is a real place, shut at the moment like everything else, and it's just incredible. It's in Wisconsin, and it was built, let's see if I can get some information. If I do Wiki for this, because Wiki's always the best for your mainstream info. I was going to do a video which was all like, all like everything all done in little pictures and stuff, but I like doing this. I like the spontaneity of research sometimes. So this thing is actually somewhere I want to go. I'd like to go here. So the story goes that this guy always saw this overhanging rock and built this Villa Maria in 1923, which is like this huge, like almost like a Scandinavian type building. That, let's find you some photographs on images, that hangs over the trees, and he's got an infinity walk where it goes over the trees, and this whole like rock structure has been built integral to the house as well. I'll get some pictures here, and inside and underneath and around, right, here you go. See? House on the Rock. There's another view of it. And here's the house. So the reason they go there is because underneath in this thing is the world's largest carousel. It is absolutely ridiculous. It's completely humongous. House on the Rock, Wisconsin Carousel. Here it is. Look at it. So the spec on this thing is just incredible. And it's surrounded all above by these angels and I think there's something like 20,000 lights, and there's peacocks and all sorts of stuff going on this thing. It's just crazy. It's like some sort of huge, like, acid trip going on. So in the film, they go on it, and it's a time machine, basically. It's like a time machine. Now, this isn't the first time I've seen merry-go-rounds and carousels used as time machines. I know there's a few. The one that immediately springs to mind is in Ray Bradbury's book, Something Wicked This Way Comes. There's a circus comes to town, and there's a carousel. When it goes backwards, you get younger. When it goes forwards, you get older. So carousels, fourth dimensional beings, clowns, all that sort of thing. I've got a little bit of a problem with carousels. I had a funny dream about one before I'd even been on one. It was like I had a prophetic dream about going on to a carousel. And when I was a young girl, we just moved to this area, and I had this strange dream about this carousel with the little figures that do the music. And then about a month later, a fair came to the place, and this actual carousel was there. It was called the Gondoliers. It was such a strange experience. And of course, when you're a kid, you're trying to tell people that I dreamed this, and nobody takes any notice. So here it is. Now, what piqued my interest on this carousel is the animals. Now, people aren't allowed on this carousel. Yeah, it's just to look at. They're not allowed on it. So it was the animals, because the animals are bizarre. They are bizarre. This is a Getty image. You can see a few of them here. These animals are not modern animals, and then they're not all that recent historically. I found, hang on, I'm going to show you some of them. Let's find the guy. Hopefully I saved it. I actually remembered to save some of these yesterday. I'm so bad. Carousel at the house on the spring. Here we go. Now, this is a man's blog. I've got his name, so I can give you his name. So here's the carousel. So you can see, here's the animals. Then you've got lights and chandeliers and peacocks, and then above they've got a lot of modern mannequins. I've been trying to get some photographs to see if they've got any older models for these, but they've got a lot of like modern mannequins dressed as angels, but it's these animals. Yeah. First of all, I'm going to get you some vintage carousel animals. So I found some from 1913. So mostly horses. Oh yeah, this carousel on the House of the Rock. Let's see if I can find about the carousel. Right. The carousel features 269 carousel animals, and there isn't one horse in these carousel animals. Not one horse. There are horses, carousel horses there, but they're all stuck all over around the room, and there's some very old ones. 182 chandeliers, 20,000 lights, and hundreds of mannequin angels. Has no horses. Yeah? But you're not allowed on it. Now, the whole of the inside of this house on the rock, it says it's all dusty and a bit of a mess, and it's full of original artifacts, original pieces of art, fakes, loads of fakes. Loads of people have done copies and reproductions, and also sort of hybrid things that they've made up themselves. So they've taken a bit sort of steampunky sort of stuff, so you don't know what you're getting, you don't know what you're looking at. It says the house has inspired several authors, most prominent being Neil Gaiman, who used it as an important plot point in his 2001 novel American Gods. Yeah? So this whole place was built up over a series of years, and then opened in the late 50s, the 60s, 1953, and then it really took off in the 60s. So the house itself is atop deer shelter rock, a column of rock approximately 60 by 70 feet, which stands in a forest. Now, there was one point when I think it's Ian McShane who plays Odin, Wednesday Odin, he's gathering them all there, and they're walking through this house on the rock, or talking about it, and he's talking about how throughout history humans have been attracted to places of energy where they build cathedrals and standing stones, or in this case the house on the rock. So he recognises this whole area as some important energetic point, and gathers all these people there. They jump on the carousel, and when it goes, they have an out-of-body experience, I'd say. Right, let's have a look at these animals. Find my vintage. There's one here that looks a bit more like it. That's the sort of thing. That's more of an age. That's world record carousel auction prices. I wonder how old this one is. Century old. Oh, I don't know if it's going to. $174,000. Yeah, for a St. Bernard carousel figure. $174,000. So these things fetch a price, man. Let's have a look. Right, short video clip of what it sounds like. Oh, well, I ain't going to work because I ain't got an Adobe Flash. Excuse me while I roll a ciggy. I've been awake for ages. It's like, I don't know, I'm not sleeping. I don't want to go on about the state of play out there, because I'm trying just to sort of live my life and keep myself together, because I think it's all going to... I mean, this can't go on forever. This can't go on forever, obviously. So it's a case of hanging on in there and not losing faith. And it's my sort of like aim to be the solid one amongst my family, because they're all struggling. My children are all struggling. It's like never ending. Their plans have all been messed up and twisted about, and what can I say, you know? What can I do? What can I say? All I can be is like somebody who's not falling to pieces themselves. Right, here we go. This is a camel. And this is, I don't know, there's a better photograph of this. But these, to me, do not look like your average carousel animals. Yeah, see what I mean? There's something especially strange and ancient about them, and I'm not sure. I think he may have hybrided up some of these things on here. I don't know if this is meant to have this woman here, this dark sort of bronzy woman with this golden hair. I'm going to try and get this a little bit bigger, this for you. How's that? It's a bit better, isn't it? This thing here, yeah? We'll see that in a minute. But can you see how old these things are? Carry on. Look at this. You don't see this sort of thing on your average carousel. And I don't think these were made especially for it. I think they managed to get these things. I think they've got this. I think they inherited this carousel. I think it's astonishing Look at this dragon. These two dragons here. And this here, all this here. Where the hell did they get all this from? Look at this. Carousel rides. The art in this is astonishing. This is very, very well done. And these ladies here, just look at these, and somehow they've been given these weird heads. And then you've got another one of these little women on the front of a horse type thing. But this, and look at these walruses. And then you've got these cherubim. And I think these are moving cherubim. They've got like joints on their wrists and hands. So when they bang these little drums, their heads move. This is a part of the display. There's also, in this place, a humongous organ, church organ. Cathedral organ, absolutely massive, and I think that's an original as well. So I think they've got some original old stuff here. That looks like an original one. This dummy here, although I don't know, because they've got like a lot of plastic mannequins with these wings on. I don't know where these wings are from. These wings are unusual. It's like they got the wings and then added the angels, yeah. And here's this organ. Look at this organ. And it's massive. It's just humongous. And then you've got these things, these angels. These aren't modern, again. These look like something that's been taken from elsewhere and just used in this sort of like completely over-the-top entertainment complex. It's like a cornucopia of Americana. But I think some of it is old. Look at this! And they've got zillions of these China dolls. Just absolutely, I mean, the place must be so dusty and cobwebby, and there must be stuff in there that they just don't know. But if you look here, you can see in here that they've got these original looking old, they look like ships, figureheads. Right. So you can see that these things here are little heads in here. Old, old, old. And these are some of the horses. You can see that these don't look as old as these things. Look at these, look at her. I'm going to take it back down a little bit so you can see all of her and just how well she's made. Look at that. Now they've painted her eyes in blue. They've adorned her lips and her hair so that she's got her nipples, so she's garish. Which is what they tend to do in fairs and circuses. They overpaint things. Things become quite garish so that they attract people's attentions. This is some artistry. And then you've got all this sort of weird stuff here. I mean, these are modern. You've got the modern and the old all sort of mixed in together. It's like, obviously, modern. And a carousel angel. So I'll show you some of the pictures that I found. It's this one again. So hang on. I'll talk about there in a minute. Here's the camel with the cornucopia lady. Here's a cat. Now these cats, I did find these cats. They were made by some people, and they tended to put a fish in the mouth, but I think a fish or something in the mouth was standard for a cat, but it just looks so old. They look like something from Baron Munchausen, you know. Look at the dragon. Let's bring it up a bit for you. And the workmanship in the wings, you can see all the feathers in the dragon wings. I strongly suspect that's wood, carved wood. So there's some other stuff in there. Here it is in its glory with the angels. It's bizarre. It's just bizarre. Oh, oops, sorry. Here's one, but it's very small. Here he is. What do you make of that? Yeah? What do you make of that? I have got some more to do after this video. So it seems to me that this guy managed to get a load of stuff. They were flogging off a load of stuff. And he nabbed it, and I don't know if it was the carousel or if he made the carousel. Oh, sorry. We're back there again in a minute. Here's one. I think... Oh no, yeah, this is definitely one because you got the angels above. I thought it might be a more modern one for a minute. This looks like it's slightly more modern than maybe some of the others. I don't know, but look at the ornamentation. I'm going back to them in a minute. Here we go, look, these here. Aren't they beautiful, these reindeers? Look at them. Look at the expression and the way it's moving. It's just absolutely beautiful. So in the actual program, look at this weird guy. It's like some strange butler type thing with these horse legs, like some centaur. And that's the Calliope bit. That's the bit I was telling you about, where when you go around a carousel, you can see these little figures pretend playing drums and flutes and tambourines and things like that. As you go around, they go do 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 and all that sort of thing. And in my dream, they were real. These beings were real. Yeah, I'm going to come to these because I went to these next. Oh, yeah, I think that's all of them. Yeah. And we'll go back to our American gods. American gods. I think I already saved it. Yeah, I don't want to play too much of this because of copyright. But he sees rules. No riding on the carousel. But when he looks, well, there's a Nancy on the carousel. Look at the lion. Look at the lion. And then as he looks, he sees that everybody else is sort of got themselves onto the carousel. And onto these strange horses. There's the Queen of Sheba. She's on some sort of pirate. Anyway, he picks an eagle, and which is obviously some sort of symbolism. And off they go on this carousel, which speeds up, and they all disappear off into the twilight zone. So I started to think that maybe, you know, these circuses and places like that managed to get hold of stuff that was no longer being used by the previous occupants of this plane and refurbish them and reuse them. So I started to look at circus wagons, and these are circus wagons. These look to me like these were processional carriages. So these are band chariots or bandwagons, yeah? I think these were probably some sort of ceremonial carriages that people like Barnum and Bailey bought up, painted up and used. This is a bandwagon. So they've got this huge, great big sort of construction that they pile down the street. Look at the ornate patterns on these things. And they've got like very dodgy histories. There seems to be a bandwagon, circus wagon manufacturer, and I think they were getting them, probably putting them onto wheels. I also think some of these things here were panels that were made to fit onto these things and also removed from other structures or walls or something and stuck on them. Let's have a look at a few. Look. This is not modern. This was not built originally for a circus. This is some seriously important part of some procession, not for a circus. I mean, there's very little to me that says circus there. Let's go back, look at some more. I was on this for hours the other day. It's so interesting. Look at that. A beautiful artist's rendition. So when was this painted? When was this done? I've got a circus in the background here. So people would do like a tableau on the top. It looks like there was a tableau with this seriously ornate circus. It says, in my 1956 pamphlet, The Telescoping Tableaus, I introduced some non-conclusive evidence that I will update, which strongly indicated that this tableau was imported from England. Nothing really substantial from which they don't know where these things come from. Their bandwagon is of English manufacture. Here it is in the street. This is the top. This is the top tableau. Globe Lion Group. This is how it originally looked before they stuck it on the top, I guess. So it, yeah. It's called the St. George and the Lion and the Mirror bandwagon. A lot of these bandwagons have these mirrors. Look at this. Look at the size of them as well. I'm just fascinated by these things. They just look like some amazing processional coaches that were used at some time, that have been like just turned into these crazy station wagons for circuses and fairgrounds, and then they just paint them up with all their crazy painting colours over the years. Do you see? There's a really good one where it shows like all the different designs that they do and the heavy paint. I'll leave all the links to these in case you want to have a look yourself. So look at some of the pictures that I saved. This one. Look at that. That's a circus wagon. And if you watch some of these really, really old circus films, like Freaks, there's loads of them, Mickey Rooney type films, loads of them used to be around. They go on forever. Somebody falls off the tightrope and all this sort of stuff. They quite often have these old things in the background, and the Carousel Museum rents them out as well. There's like this Carousel Museum place. Is this the one that they show? I think this might be it. This is the Lion and Snake, or the Lion's Bride bandwagon. And they said it was built in the winter of 1904. So I think this is older than 1904. It's probably got together in 1904 and been in some sort of shed or storage or something. Look at them. It was not built. Some of them as well look as if they were used in exhibitions. Some of the exhibitions that were around these world fairs, because they seem to have a lot of emphasis on certain countries. They've got like heraldic colours, and look at this. This was like stored in Peru, and then it shows how they change the colours on them. I mean, this looks like some royal coach. The chariots. This was built in 1887, it says. So I think it's the same as the houses, isn't it? It's the same as the churches and the houses and everything else, built in 1987. In 1887, because if you look up the definition of built, it just basically says putting together of components to create a structure. So built could mean putting the wheels on it. Yeah. Here it is. That's a coach. That's a ceremonial coach that has been taken over and refurbished for the circus. And then they put all this sort of stuff on. Right, oh, Peru's Indiana. So it's Peru. The angels. Right, let's read you what it says. The Norris and Rowe Angels bandwagon. This wagon, which is one of my favourites, was heavily built with splendid carvings featuring winged angels, musical instruments and corner statues. The wagon was built in the winter of 1909-10 by the Len Hart Wagon Works of Baltimore. I can't find anything out about them. The carvings were done by Spangers. Can't find anything out about them. This wagon was one of a set of 4 built and delivered to Norris and Rowe. So there's 4 of these things. Yeah, 4 of these. There they are. Look at them. Wild West show with angels, lions, crowns, cornucopias, shells, naked ladies. I don't think so. I think this is like old stuff. Baron Munchausen, whatever they call it. I just find it all completely astonishing. Look at this one. So basically what I've sort of like, all I'm looking at is just stuff that we're looking at thinking is one thing when in fact it's another. I want to show you this this lion one that I found. The globe one. Because it's just crazy. So I thought I saved an old photo of it. That one. And this isn't it, but this. Oh no, there it is. I have to go back. Now this one I think is more modern, but I don't know. They might have just taken these and stuck it on one. This laptop, I've got so many windows open as well. It's not helping my cause here. Here it is. Now, I think this was probably used in some procession to do with a world fair or something like that. Do you see what I mean? Pushing the globe. Western Hemisphere, you've got all these plaques here. You've got B&B, Barnum and Bailey, but there may have been other insignia in there, or it may have meant something else. I don't know. All I'm seeing is oldie worldy stuff that some really, really clever entrepreneurial type person has nabbed up. Here it is now. There it was then. I've got one lighter here and it doesn't work. Story of my life. And then of course Circus, they're well known for this garish sort of like colouring of things. See how cheap this lion looks now. This is probably gold before, I would have thought, and these were probably all painted, but just single colours. That's strange, isn't it? Anyway, that's about it. No great shakes, just observation, noticing that things do seem to be sometimes not quite what you think, you know? Circus stuff, carousel stuff, circus stuff, from somewhere else originally, yeah? Thanks for watching, guys.